I haven't heard a bad version of that song, but the original, I'm sorry. I love Tank's version. I love the other versions of the song, but every now and then you need to go back to the well of the original. Um, yeah, I remember hearing that song for the first time, and I'm like, it stopped me instant because I have eclectic taste in music, in case you all didn't know. And it stopped me instantly. It was it's a haunting melody to her voice. When she sings that song, it's like more than anybody else, I feel like she felt that song. She felt it in a way that she translated into the environment. It's like every time I hear, there's certain songs that do that to me. When you hear them, you hear the pain and joy also, because even through the pain, it's the joy of knowing you made it through that. I remember that. Yeah. So that was Bonnie Raitt. For those who didn't know, the great Bonnie Raitt. Let's give them something to talk about, Bonnie Raitt, and that was her song. I Can't Make You Love Me. So welcome, welcome. Um, Conversations with T Nathan. As I said, it is 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, and you're listening to me on the GCPR network outside of the United States. And if you have the GCPR network inside the United States, but most of my listeners are outside the United States. Thank you all for tuning in. And if you're watching me on YouTube, you are watching this later on YouTube, where the recordings will go up, or you're watching me live on TikTok. Thank you for tuning in. Well, today, today, October the 24th, 21st, uh, nine, what is it? 8 more days to go. 8 more days to the the devastatingly handsome guy celebrates his 28th anniversary of his 30th birthday. That's how I term it. I celebrate October the 29th. I'll be celebrating my 28th anniversary of my 30th birthday. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I don't care about you all's reality. Okay? Anybody who disagrees with me, um, you will be escorted out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're late, Jay. I give up. Everybody's gonna be late. But yeah. Let's get into it because there are some things going on that we have got to talk about. I'm not gonna talk about a ceasefire because I don't believe there is a ceasefire. I said it. I don't care. I don't care. It's not a ceasefire. Um, and whoever told you all that, they, their mama dresses don't funny. Can't be calling a ceasefire when people are still dying in, in essence. Now, I want to weigh in on something that you know we had last earlier, well, at the end of last week at Homeland Security and their doctored video, right? And I know a lot of you all have seen this already, but there's there's this. I'm gonna show you the video first, and the young man is on TikTok. Um,
The meme, people said it was a meme and a joke when these young men said they were going to attack ICE and get a bounty on the heads of ICE. And it was a clip that was going viral over the weekend. But it's these guys are saying threatening ICE. Like, and Department of Homeland Security did not take this as a joke. Can you give me the status of
Yeah,
this?
there were two separate narratives going on. It was the Eric Swalwells of the world were tweeting about this. There were even some USA Today journalists tweeting about this. First, they were saying, the left was saying, that we had doctored this video and changed it from an Iranian message video to anti-ICE, that we had doctored it ourselves. And then the second narrative from the influencer, the guy who posted this video, was that, oh, he was hacked. So after he gets called out from the Department of Homeland Security for threatening ICE agents with violence, then suddenly he says he was hacked. So I mean, we referred this to the FBI, and so we'll check on the status with them. But the fact of the matter is that these politicians like Eric Swalwell and Dan Goldman, who both were posting about this and threatening to haul Secretary Noem in front of Congress for this video, are so willfully blind to the fact that there is violent threats against our law enforcement and go so far as to create these fake narratives to cover up for these thugs.
So yeah, I mean, again, they posted a video that said, ICE, we're on our way. The streets and cartels put a $50,000 bounty on you. And it's a photo of them standing, presumably in a manner that says, we're going to go attack ICE agents and kill them for money.
Yeah, absolutely. So happy to give you an update as far as from the FBI and the DOJ, but we're not backing down on this. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't some hack. The evidence will show otherwise. We have the receipts.
No, you don't. You know why they don't have the receipts? Because they don't do any due diligence prior to doing these things. They don't do any due diligence to doing these things. And the young man whose TikTok page this was originally on, um, and I think hacked was the wrong word. And that's why I tell people when you're dealing with these kind of individuals, when you're dealing in this, your words have power. So they're latching on to him saying he was hacked. When anybody knows you can download a video from TikTok anytime you get ready. You can alter it, you can do all that, right? You can do all of that. And this is his response.
So I'm getting these mad messages from my DMs and social media and on my comments. And I randomly get a text message talking about a recent video that was posted in my account. I was like, what are y'all talking about? By the way, I'm sick, so if I sound weird, yeah. I get threats daily on IG and everywhere all over my social media all of a sudden due to an old video I posted months ago about Iran. Iran, that was not to be a threat. It was literally a joke, bro. Like, seriously, it's just content. Anyways, once I seen that video that was posted on my account, then I was like, what the fuck? Well, didn't I post this like months ago? Then I seen the caption, and then I was like, wait, I didn't do that. I still got the video saved on my draft months ago on TikTok, bro. I'm gonna pull it up right here. Now, here's the fucked up part. The federal government is involved with something that I didn't do. Like, what? So this is what they reposted off my TikTok. That video got taken down. So here's what they reposted on their page. Now that video is going crazy as hell on Twitter, bro. Now I'm a threat to the government for something that I didn't do, bro.
No,
Now,
do y'all listen? No, the video is not AI generated.
Be gangster over a video that I didn't caption or I didn't post. So thanks for my followers for letting me know about this, because seriously, this is getting out of hand. Like, literally, this is going crazy.
They blew it
Viral all
like
over social media right now. Probably might end up being on the news, bro. So my apologies for that contradiction and rumors from happening. I know my First Amendment, but I did not post that video. So to clear that out, I did not post that video, and I apologize for all the rumors that is going around right now.
I wish he would have had a lawyer.
And those other kids that was on the video, bro, they volunteered to want to be on the video, bro. I asked them if they wanted to be on the video, and then they said, yeah, they agreed with it. But it wasn't really aware with the caption for the Iran video. But that Iran video trend that was going on a few months ago, I wanted to hop on that trend, and I peeped a lot of people was doing the same thing too. So I wanted to be creative and change my perspective. So then I seen comments saying, oh, what if somebody made a YN type of video? So then I ended up making that video. And then I started getting threats. Like, what? How is it my fault that's what y'all wanted?
And I will say this, but that is his statement. In his statement, and I'm going to, yeah, I wish he would have had legal representation before he made that statement. I wish he parents would have coached him better or somebody, because at the end of the day, though, the most important thing is not his setup. It's not AI generated video. Everything is not AI. It was a video he made, and somebody downloaded the video and altered the caption. The video he made, and they altered the caption, and they put the caption that you all saw earlier in the video. Sometimes the explanation is, but and so then he's getting backlash over it because Homeland Security, and this is the thing sometimes. The bigger issue is not that he made a stupid video. It's not that. It is not that. I expect children to do things like it is the idea that a whole government agency, before they did their due diligence on a video to even see if it was the actual caption that the original video had or if it had been doctored, before they do any of that, they ran with it. They ran with it because it fits their narrative. And that's what I be telling people when they be sitting back saying that, oh, black people, we're not getting involved in this because it doesn't affect us. The Department of Homeland Security used a doctored video of black children in a park on a trend from another stupid ass video and ran with and ran with it. No due diligence whatsoever. That's what should bother you all. His response to it aside, um, that's what should bother you all. The idea that we are looking at an agency, ICE, is under Homeland Security, that are spreading. Listen, they're spreading narrative to fit the narrative that they want that they're under siege. Can you imagine what would happen if, we could take I could prove this very easily. I could go to some of y'all's page and snatch down a video y'all did and caption it and put it out. And ICE could be and Homeland Security could be at your door also. Yeah, that's the problem. They want us to be attached to this. Right. And that's what I national class action suit against Donald Trump for anyway. Um yeah. I don't believe in wasting my time. I don't. I don't believe in wasting my time. And people are going to get mad at me if they ask me what is my opinion on um, this these days that people are talking about not purchasing anything in the United States to prove a point by people who I don't. I can tell those people. Those people don't. It's like when you hear people come up with these ideas and you be like, did you think this through well enough? Because So what are you proposing? That we just buy up everything we need in advance to last through those days? Or do we come back on the back end and buy up everything we need after those days? Do you realize this is not how boycotts should work? Because you're still spending the same amount of money, you're just spending it in a different. I just be looking at these things and I'll be like, oh, please don't ask me what I think. Please don't ask me what I think. Hey, I was like, don't ask me what I think. I wish somebody would call me before they come up with these great ideas so I can tell them why they're not great ideas and why there are certain people who can't afford to do it like that because they're buying their food as they go to try to eat for the next day, or you don't have the storage space to buy everything you need. But it doesn't change the fact that the same amount of money goes into the economy. It's like when people do these short-term boycotts for a week or two, and it's like, so it's like, I'm not gonna eat ice cream. I'm not going to buy essential needs for a week from this particular. Which it just tells me that people are not students of the Montgomery bus boycott and why it was effective and why it worked. Um, when they come up with these ideas, and you be looking at them, you like, why did anybody just call me? Because that's what I get to when we talk about there are no strat people. Let me remove young man. As a matter of fact, I'm going to come back to that. Right. I'm gonna come back to that. Let's go to the fact that Hakeem Jeffries was threatened. Um, Hakeem Jeffries, as you all know, the minority leader of the House, was threatened by one of the pardoned January 6th. Right? He was threatened by one of the pardoned January Sixers, and he was he made he y'all know how. Whatever I feel about Hakeem Jeffries, this is unacceptable. That one of the 600 people that Donald Trump pardoned in connection with January 6th is, and he's not the only one. There have been several more that have been arrested for violence, but this one was arrested because he said he was going to kill Hakeem Jeffries. And I want you to listen to how Mike Johnson responds to this. Let's get Now, what y'all can't hear is the reporters asking him about.
I don't know any of the details of this at all. I don't know who's been alleged to have been involved in this. I will say that anybody who threatens political violence against elected officials or anyone else should be have the full weight and measure of the Department of Justice on their head. I trust that that'll happen. I hope it will. We are intellectually consistent about that. Obviously, I will tell you this: the violence on the left is far more prevalent than the violence on the right. Don't make me go through the list. You all know it. All of these the assassination culture that's been advanced now, this is the left in almost every case that is advancing this and not the right. So let's not make it a partisan issue. You don't want me to go there. We're just going to say anybody, any deranged individual this has to stop. And the rhetoric that you saw on display on Saturday, we highlighted yesterday, it plays into this, okay? There are people that get triggered. There are deranged people in society when they hear elected officials participating in a rally that was paid for by Soros and sponsored by communists with signs and placards and mantras that were repeated that we should bring death to, fascist politicians. What they mean is they call every Republican a fascist now. They're calling for the death of elected officials. Please, enough of that. We got to stop it. Stop the rhetoric, stop all the nonsense, and stop the violence. Look, I'm not going to address it because I'm not sure of the details of this, and I think we've said enough. You know where we stand, and every one of you should stand there the same way. We denounce violence from anybody, anytime. Those people should be arrested and tried. Thanks.
Yep. It, it's not just the level of gaslighting for me. It's not just the level. It's the dismissive nature. It's like you all ever. I avoid people like this like the plague. Anybody has in your friend group? I cut these people out my friend, or I put them on the peripheral. You already have anybody in the friend group where no matter what you're talking about, they turn it around and make it about them. You all understand? I'm sure you all know people like that. No matter what you're talking about, I could. It's like sometime in here, I'll be talking about some issue, and somebody be like, I'll be like, "What the fuck are you all talking about?" I'll be wanting to just throw people out my comment section. I'll be like, "What? How are you all making this about you?" And that's what I just watched this man do. I just watched this man take just dismiss the nature of a a person who was arrested in connection with January 6th rioting that had sent texts and made a plan to go to the next event that Hakeem Jeffrey showed up at and kill him and kill him. Let that sink in. And so instead of addressing that, because they don't want to talk about anything associated with January 6th. No matter how much these January 6ers are out here being doing what they do, and it's all right. It is all right to them. They don't want to have that conversation. They want to somehow just outlaw the fact that 600 plus people, 1,500, you want to be accurate, were literally charged with crimes that you're charging people, you're trying to instigate people into less. You are saying that the video I showed before this of the young black man doing this stupid ass video talking about Iran, I tell y'all, that's why I don't let crumb snatchers just hop on any trend. There are no trends that how crumb snatchers hop on that I don't approve of. It's not gonna happen. It's just not. That Nana is not proven. They're not hopping on it, right? Because they can't be trusted. So, but in the interim, you have the full weight of Homeland Security coming down on them. And this here, when you have an actual man, a grown ass man with access to weapons and planning, talking about killing Hakeem Jeffries, you say, well, we're not, just don't get me started because there's more political violence coming towards the right than it is towards the left. That's the conversation. See, that's sometimes why I get lost with people, right? I get lost when I can just imagine talking to Mike Johnson and just punching him in the face. See, that's another reason I don't talk to people for long when when they try to hijack narratives of meaningful stuff with meaningless stuff. That's why I don't talk to people. That's why you don't see me go because I'm violent and I will punch. I want to punch you in the face for hijacking the conversation and trying to make it about you. I want to do that. If the conversation is not about you, then if you don't have anything to contribute, it's okay to be quiet. It's okay to be quiet. That's another thing I notice about people. Some of the people that have no clue on the conversation when they try to turn it around and make it about them, that's because they don't know how to be quiet. And when I tell people how to be quiet, I'm the one being rude. Mike Johnson is a professional gaslighter. And it's the idea that he hides behind his Christian faith to do it for me. So don't talk about today being my birthday. Got it. Don't play with me like that. Don't play with me like that. Listen, listen. So, do you put people in the box? Do I put people in the box doing my radio show? No, I don't. I don't. I don't. I. This is just me simulcasting my radio show. So no, I don't. Because at the end of the day, it's and don't take it the wrong way. I don't know what people want to talk about sometimes, and that's why you don't see me in panel discussions a lot. Because number one, I cuss, and I'm trying to get a fine, and this is not. There's so many things over here that is not that people are used to, and I don't have back and forths with certain things. So I feel that. Not saying that you're any of those things, but doing the radio show, no, because if something goes wrong, I'm just gonna cuss and get a lot of fines. I'm gonna cuss and get a lot of fines. So that's why. And I am really not impressed with the nature of spontaneous panel discussions that take place on this app. Most of the people don't know what they're talking about, and they give voice to other toxic people, and then they just do it. I don't do that. So I don't know. I just view, if you want to have a topic, if want to get invited on to it as a guest, DM me and we'll talk about it because I'm not giving voice to people who've had voice for 400 years and fucked it up. I'm not, but I'm from DC and it's fucked up. Yeah, now that's a topic I would want to talk about. People who are in DC and these other areas, and I have my brother's in DC also, and I talk to him on a regular basis. Um, so that's Mike Johnson gaslighting in that. So the next big piece of news for today is that Donald Trump has decided to sue the Department of Justice, and he says he's entitled to $230 million, a quarter of $1 million, because the Justice Department went after him unfairly and during the time after he left office and all the charges. Now, I want to also add to this, right? I don't even know what they come up with this $230 million price tag, right? But I want you to listen to what Donald Trump said about it. And then we're going to get into it. Let's listen to it. Listen to what he said about
did was wrong, and when somebody does what's wrong. Now with the country, it's interesting because I'm the one that makes the decision, right? And that decision would have to go across my desk, and it's awfully strange to make a decision where I'm paying myself. In other words, did you ever have one of those cases where you have to decide how much you're paying yourself in damages? but I was damaged very greatly, and any money that I would get, I would give to charity.
Can somebody tell me how slander works? This is what I be talking about when I hear people talk about suing and all this, and I realize, I don't know if Petra's in here. Petra and I, we used to work for a law firm. I used to do, I was the opposition research guy. Petra was a paralegal. We used to work in a law firm. So when I see people be talking about, because all the same people talk about is sue this, sue that, sue that. And I'm like, do you know the standard? But to listen to number one, the idea that there has to be some kind of harm that takes place to justify this $230 million that your lawyers are asking for. There has to be some kind of harm that takes place. You cannot really say you were harmed when you're president of the United States, so there was nothing that harmed you. Um, you spent a couple of $1 million on your defense, and you've already been compensated. You spent a couple of $1 million on the defense, nowhere near $230 million, and all of your business dealings, you are actually richer now than you were then. And for all of you all who wants to know, that's my fan. For my, I usually keep it cold in here, but there's a reason I don't now. But I keep a fan with a temperature control on it, pointed at my Synology because I'm very protective of it. So it goes on and goes on. So that is the idea that this man was not damaged by anything that happened to him. You can't play victim when you literally win the presidency of the United States and you're richer now than you were then. You understand that? So when I be listening, and it's amazing to listen to maggots talk about suing whenever they were being sued or whenever they talk about suing the January Sixers, they were like, oh, well, this and this and this, but you're perfectly fine. And listen, this might have something to do with the fact that this is also taxpayer money. He's talking about, oh, I don't have anything to do with it. I just want, you're literally talking about being rewarded with taxpayer money. Let that sink in. Taxpayer money. You can't make this up. You cannot make it up. And it seems like everybody is like, oh, well, it's not. I actually think, sorry, 20. That's one angry fan. Yeah, I could just turn it off, but I don't want to. It's it doesn't it's specifically on the target. I could turn it off, but I'll turn it off when I get off air. See, y'all have to bear with it until I want to be cold. Until we reach this. Yeah, but that is the issue. How many of you government shut? We already had Christy Nome get two, not one, but two new planes. And we also have a $200 million project going on. And let's get it. It's your fan. Do as you please.
So, do
It's
you
your
all
fan.
remember when Donald Trump said the following about the new ballroom he wanted to build at the White House? Yeah, do you remember when he said this?
Mr. President, can you talk about your plans for the new ballroom that was announced today?
Yeah.
And the $200 million, that's going to be paid for by yourself as
By
well
me,
as
yeah.
private donations?
It's a private thing. Yeah, I'll do it, and we'll probably have some donors or whatever. But it's about 200 million. So we've been planning it for a long time. They've wanted a ballroom at the White House for more than 150 years, but there's never been a president that was good at ballrooms. I'm really good. In fact, I looked at one that we just built in Turnberry in Scotland, and it's incredible. We're good at building. I'm good at building things, and we'll get it built quickly and on time. It'll be beautiful, top of the line. We've retained the best architects and engineers, everything else. It'll be built over on the east side, and it will be beautiful. It'll be views of the Washington Monument. It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of. It's my favorite place. I love it. but they've wanted it. And, when they have big events, you entertain the president of China or the president.
Now, you heard that right. It will not interfere with the existing building. It will be near it, but not touching it. Well, my bad. I apologize. That is actually the scene from Independence Day, the movie. I just get them so confused with the scenes from the White House today. Hold on, hold on. Well, there you have it. Doesn't look like the construction is interfering with the current building at all. At all, does it? And if this is not bad enough, employees at the Treasury Department, which is right next door to the East Wing of the White House, received an email telling them not to document the demolition that is going on the East Wing of the White House. As construction proceeds on the White House grounds, employees should refrain from taking and sharing photographs of the grounds, to include the East Wing, without prior approval from the Office of Public Affairs. Oh my goodness. You can't make this up. You literally can't make this up if you tried.
And here's the thing, Gracie. Yeah, it should be plenty of videos coming, but you know that they're going to hit them with some kind of um, clearance problem of doing that. I wouldn't be surprised if the Gestapo, I mean, if the Secret Service was going to take people's phones, or they had to leave their phones um, in a lockbox when they're on that side, and you have to retrieve it on the other side. I see all kinds of things. That's why I wear glasses. I just foresee all kinds of issues with obfuscation that's going to occur to get people to comply with this. It's the idea. He said we're not going to touch the building. It's going to be touching the building, but it's not. It's going to be close to the building, but it's not going to be. Did anybody understand that when they said ballroom, that you wasn't going to suspend the ballroom outside? Can I just say, for instance, that all this gold inlay reminds me of Versailles. Have anybody ever seen Versailles, Sun King's castle? It's so gaudy, and it seems so tasteless. It seems so tasteless. The gold inlay, I was like, yeah, it seems tasteless. It's the lack of transparency tells us what's going on. Jackie, thank you for the donation, Jackie. Also, it's the idea that not only is it the lack of, it's the circumvention of transparency. Donald, everybody knows, and this is the other bigger problem for me. The $200 million is not coming from the taxpayers that are charged with taking and maintaining the White House. I'm not against modernizing the White House and updating things and all that, but this is not about that. You could have built a ballroom in a manner that, number one, was so destructive, but also paid homage to the building, like you said you were going to do. But forget that. Let's just forget that for a moment. We are taking donations, private. What are these people getting in return for their private donation to your $200 million project? And like Vaughn said, Vaughn was like, "Yeah, he not leaving. Oh, he leaving. He gonna leave, but he doesn't plan to leave in the same time manner that we plan to get rid of it." Right, Steve. Access. Not only access, but built-in decisions. You don't just get access, you already gonna get decisions. We know what it costs to get a joint military facility in the United States for a country that's not even part of NATO. We have a price tag on that. A 747 and $2 billion in investment in your family. And you too, yeah, you too could be not a part of NATO, and come to the United States and bring your own aircraft, and we're just going to train you at facilities, at joint facilities in the United States. Even if we called you a joint sponsor of terrorism, not just 5 years ago, we will let you in because you are enriching the whole family. And don't get it fucked up. Also, I want to say this about this 747 that the taxpayers are gonna foot a bill to about $750 million to renovate it up to standards of being Air Force One. That you do know that when he talk about this plane is going to be part of his presidential library, that doesn't mean the plane is going to be parked, right? The plane will still be his to use to go and come as he pleases. That's what he said. I don't mean yeah, I talked about that before you yeah, fuck that video. Fuck him. Idea that and that's not even the worst. I still go back to the fact that he has posted racist videos of King Jeffries in a sombrero. And people are thought it was a stretch to see him posting AI videos of him in a king's crown, dumping shit on protesters. It's the dismissal for me, but it's also, and I'm gonna talk about this too, because I think Gracie and I had this conversation today. And I'm gonna revisit some parts of it. But before we get to that, we're probably gonna do that in the after hours. We got 12 minutes. Reese's keeping me on top of the game. But before we get that, I want to go to this next video. And I want you to listen to what Steve Miller in this video, about 3 minutes long. I want you to listen to Steve Miller in this video. Trump signs executive order on memorandum 7. And this is an listen, idea that these people don't get the concept of Antifa as not being an organization, but a concept that is rooted in our World War II battles against fascism. I think that they don't get that, but it's because they don't want to get it. But listen to what Stephen Miller is going to link to this memorandum. And I think this is actually what Stephen Miller says is actually the intent of Memorandum 7.
Lastly, sir, this is a presidential memorandum on countering domestic terrorism and organized political violence. In recent weeks, months, and years, we've seen a tremendous upsurge in some highly visible, but also other acts of domestic terrorism and organized political violence being perpetrated by radical, politically motivated groups all over the country. What this presidential memorandum will do is set off an administration-wide response to that, ranging from the Joint Terrorism Task Forces to other components of the Department of Justice, to the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Treasury. We're looking at interdicting these groups, preventing them from performing acts of violence, and also looking at sources of organization and funding and support that prop them up and allow them to do the acts that they have been doing.
We're looking at the
I'm going to say this for anybody, and this is the difference when we say that Trump is stupid. Uh, he doesn't, and this is my thing. Trump is not stupid. Everything Trump does is in service to himself. He might not know facts, but it doesn't matter. You could tell. You all listen. Look at him while he was reading off the memorandum or talking about what the memorandum is supposed to do. You know, Trump had nothing to do with this memorandum as far as writing it, right? You all know that Trump had nothing to do with this memorandum as far as writing it, while he's talking about an auto pen, right? But you're finna see who did have something with writing this. And this is the thing, going back to even the donated money for the things that he's doing, that he gets to claim like he's paying for it. It's not just access, it's influence. Because it's influence to just put stuff in front of him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, good. You did this for me. I'm gonna do this for you," not knowing the ramifications of it, because he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the ramifications as long as he profits on them. Donald Trump is a racist and a bigot, no doubt about it. But the only thing he's different from some racists and bigots, because what exceeds his racism and bigotry is his own self worth. He's your classic extreme narcissist. And the people that influence him, that want to get things done, he all you gotta do is appeal to that. So Let's get back to it.
Funders of a lot of these groups, and you know, when you see the signs, and they're all beautiful signs made professionally. These aren't your protesters that make the sign in their basement late in the evening because they really believe it. These are anarchists and agitators, professional anarchists and agitators, and they get hired by wealthy people, some of whom I know, I guess, you know, I probably know them. And you wouldn't know it. You're at dinner with them, everything's nice, and then you find out that they funded millions of dollars to these lunatics. Steve, could you say a couple of words
Yes,
about
Mr.
it, please?
President. This is a very historic and significant day. This is the first time in American history that there is an all-of-government effort to dismantle left-wing terrorism, to dismantle Antifa, to dismantle the organizations that have been carrying out these acts of political violence and terrorism. What we have seen, if you look at whether it be going back to the riots that started with Black Lives Matter and all the way through to the Antifa riots, the attacks on ICE officers, the doxing campaigns, and now the political assassinations, these are not lone, isolated events. This is part of an organized campaign of radical left terrorism. It is structured, it is sophisticated, it is well funded, it is well planned. There is really no parallel like this to anything else in the country right now. There is an entire system of feeder organizations that provide money, resources, weapons, and when they're attacking ICE officers, they're attacking federal buildings, or they're isolating public officials for harassment, doxing, intimidation, and ultimately attempted assassination. It is all carefully planned, executed, and thought through. It is terrorism on our soil. Because of this executive order, Cash and Pam are going to have the tools they need, working with Scott, to take these organizations apart piece by piece. And the central hub of that effort is going to be the Joint Terrorism Task Force, or JTTF, which sits inside the Federal Bureau of Investigation. But for those at home who are worried about terrorism in this country, they need to understand, because of President Trump's strength, because of his vision, because of his leadership, we are now going to use the entire force of the federal government to uproot these organizations root and branch. And again, that's only possible because of President Trump and his leadership.
Listen, listen. This would be so funny. So does that mean they get to take themselves down or what? Right. This would be so funny if you were watching this. The West Wing was one of my favorite television shows. Right. It was one of my favorite television shows. If you know me, you know politics, because politics is just war without bloodshed, and war is politics with bloodshed. I've always that mantras all. That's why when I hear people say they don't get involved in politics, I resign. Yeah, somehow we just got taken out. Uh,